Hey guys, look at this. I bet you didn't think to see me back so soon, right? Well, we got a little bit of burst of energy. We still have hours without anybody around, so gives me a chance to just have fun. And I have needed this for a long time. So I've been really good. And I was on Facebook tonight and I saw a brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, show a picture of a new puppy he got, and boy, it looks just like Makita. And that just hurts so much. I want another Makita. You know, I just want another lab. All of our labs have been such good dogs. But I'm going to hopefully try and forget about what I saw by coming in here and making something. So today, again, we just want to make a bunch of canes that are going to go into some cute flower beads, all different shapes, hopefully. And we're going to make some ghost canes first, and then we'll make the flower that's going to go with it. So, we're going to start with the background of the bead, which I'm using Premo in fuchsia. So we're going to be using translucent white, and I have a yellow flower, and I'm going to have a wasabi leaf. So hopefully this turns out as planned. I saw it in my head. I got Jake in the living room, so I turned the TV on for him. He's watching football. He's watching an old game, but he's watching football. Alright, so now I just got to decide how much of this stuff I want, right? So I may go one more slice. I'm not going to use all of it, although I could, but I don't want to. Because then I'll end up with cane that I don't use. And I've got too much cane as it is. Okay, so now we're just going to get this into a square. Or at least close into a square. Okay, so what I do is I have this at a full thickest setting. Okay, so now we just need translucent, and all we need is a log. I'm going to try and wipe my hands so I don't have a bunch of pink on it. Although regardless, it is going to bleed into it. I'm thinking, you know what? I think I am. I'm going to take a white strip and put it in between the translucent and the fuchsia. I think it'll make the fuchsia pop more than the fuchsia just on translucent. So this will probably go thinner. I just don't know how thin yet. And I did not clean my blades. I know some of you have two machines, one just for white, and I think that's a pretty good idea. But I think I'll be okay. So on the fuchsia, I may do a number 3. I might go thinner, but we're going to start it at a 3. We'll see what a big difference that is. Okay. Yeah, I think the 3 is going to be fine. So I'm just going to set that right on top. Okay, so unfortunately now we've got some pink and white. Alright, so now we're going to make a log with just translucent. And this I probably won't put through the pasta machine. I'm just going to do it by hand. Because that's all I need. Yeah, this is a little old, so it might take me a few minutes to get it going here. It's a little crumbly. I have cern it, but I'm afraid that might take a little bit longer. I guess I can look at it and see how hard the cern it is. Okay. Well, maybe we'll just use cern it then. It's pretty hard too, but either way I'm gonna have to condition both of them. So I may have to hit pause because we're making 3 canes, right? And if I have to do this to the cernet on every one of them, it's gonna take a little bit of time. And for as much as I need for that, just to play here, I don't need too much more. So let me go ahead and hit pause, and let me make a good log with this. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I think we got enough, but I'm just going to add like a little bit to what I've got here. Because I'd rather stretch the bottom piece to this than to cut off a little strip that I'm not going to use anywhere else. Although I could make a pink color with it, but obviously we want it the same size from left to right, so that's when you're going to use this. Okay. And I'm going to have to turn that TV down because it is loud. And I don't think Jake's appreciating it. So I'm trying to hide that strip of white there. Okay. So there we go. So basically, we are just going to keep reducing it until we get 5 pieces. We'll make a flower. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to connect these together. It's just basically going to be a bubble cane. That's all it's going to be. Okay, so if you roll it, you'll get more of that translucent out the sides. But if you just work on it like this, you'll be able to push that out a little bit. Because pretty soon it's going to suck right in. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this so I get it really long. I think probably a 1/2 inch in diameter is what I could start with. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, well, we are still working on this, as you can see. So I cut it in half because there's no way I could do this long and figure out what I needed. So I need at least 14 inches, or 2 inches each, and I need about 14 of these. Okay. So there's 7 right there, and I still got waste. Okay, and then this is going to be the same. We want them to be the same size. Bubble canes make really good backgrounds, but you got to know what color to put underneath them. Because if you got a dark color, it's going to darken up the whole bead. So I could do white. I can do a light pink. Okay, so we're just going to go, I think we're at 14 about right there. We might have a little extra. Just going to cut that off. I got an air bubble in there. Not one day goes by where I don't have an air bubble. And I went for 7 inches just for, or I went 2 inches in all of these just for comfort, basically. Okay, so all you do is you just stack them. And then basically, you're just going to wrap them all the way around again. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. You just want to get it back into a round shape. Oop. Okay. And that's it. This is going to be our first background cane. Okay, I don't want any air bubbles in here. If you got one that's bigger, one that's smaller, don't worry about it. It's just a background. You're going to have all kinds of elements on top of it. Okay, so I will reduce this down later. And we'll go ahead and start on our second cane. Okay, so I want to do this. But I'm wondering if I want to put a bright green over it like I did the other one. I had it in my hand and put it back. Should have left it out, but I didn't. Now I'm not going to find the one that I needed. Oy. literally just saw the color that I need. That's weird. Okay, so that's really weird. Oh, I took it out and I put it up here on the counter. Oh, that's just me. Okay, so this is going to be a leaf. It's going to be a ghost leaf, right? So I had some sitting around, but we're going to do the same. We're going to run this at a 3, or at the thickest setting, and then we're going to run the lighter green at a 3, I believe. Now, I could make this a Skinner blend. But because it's going to be a ghost cane, I don't need that blend. Okay. So, and I don't think I need it as big as that one. And if I like it, I can always make it again, right? Okay. So now we're going to do the lighter green. And this we're going to do at a number, well, it's smaller, so I might do a 3 or I might do a 4. We'll see what we got. So that's going to be a 4. So yes, I need more. Got a little piece right here. All right, well, let's just run that right through. And that's probably why it did what it did. All right. One side looks whiter than the other, doesn't it? That would be me. Gosh darn it, I just cannot catch a break here. This is a little sticky. Okay. Now let's see if we have enough. Well, we kind of did. Okay. So, the same as the other one. We're going to make a log with translucent, and we're going to put that right in the middle. Again, this one's a little smaller. Yeah, do you see all these air bubbles right here? I could run it through the pasta machine, but I don't want to make it any thinner. So we're just going to leave it alone, and hopefully they'll all work their way out. All right, so I'm just gonna check and see how much of this I need. So I'm gonna need a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay. So now let's see where we're at. I could still go a little more. I'm going to put this at a number 6. And yeah, I picked up a little tinge of that green. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I could see that I'm off. I've told you for a long time that I cannot cut a straight line. That's what happens when you're nearsighted and you're working really far from what you're doing. So yes, I could add more, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. So this might work perfect for the inside of the cane. All right? Okay. So now we want to squish this kind of low. Okay. Now we need to make the inside. So I'm going to keep it the same color. Just trying to think, do I want... Not quite sure how I want to work this yet. I'm going to try and peel this off and save this green. I know, it's only clay, right? Everything is so expensive now. So I'm trying to be good. And I know that I had an open one, but I also have some more. So I'll grab some green here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 pieces at a number 3. And then we're going to make that light green inside at a number 5 on the pasta machine. So I don't know how much I'm going to need, but we'll start it at this. And we'll make adjustments if we have to. As soon as you get a nice square, go ahead and lay it down. No, I don't have the greatest square, but I'm still going to lay it down. Okay. Just going to end it right there. Alright, so now we need this. This is at a 3. And this one's going to be at a number 5. And then we're going to need another one of those to be put on top. One of these days I'm going to get my pasta machine with some screws and literally go right through the metal. It keeps moving on me. This way I don't have to worry about a clamp. Just screw it to my table and I'll be good. Okay. So there's the green. I don't need any more of this. Okay. There's an air bubble. Oh well, this one's going right back through the pasta machine, so I'm not worried about air bubbles because you should get them out when I go through it. Okay, so now this is back at a number 3. Okay. So it's going to be pretty subtle, I think. I don't think you're really going to see too much of it. Okay, and now we're going to put it back in at a number 1 or at a 0. Okay, and I'm just going to look. And I think for the center, I'm going to want it this thick. So I'm trying to think of how big this is going to be. Okay, I'm just going to cut this strip right there and save it. And then I'm going to go to a number 1 and then a 2. And we'll go one more to a number 3. Okay. So I'm going to kind of move this stuff over because it's in my way. Okay. So we're only doing 3 on this one. So I'm going to go 1. Since the outside always seems to squish when you pull it out, so I am just going to cut a strip out right here. Okay. Don't think it's squished that much. Oh, it may have. Okay. That's what happens when it gets really soft. Okay, so now we're going to do this again about right here. Okay. Okay, and the third one is going to go right there. Okay, so now I'm going to work it back into its little circle if I can. Okay, and now we're going to cut it in half, but at a slant. Hopefully it's a good enough slant. Sometimes I go too much of a slant and it looks funky. So I'm being a little careful tonight. Okay, and you turn it around and you have your leaves. And you know that it's never going to be the perfect leaf because it never is. Like, it'll look good on the ends, and then when you cut it, the leaves aren't exactly where they should be. Or not the leaf, but the little branches here. Alright, so this is something I can save now. And I don't need that. Okay, so this isn't really a big leaf, but I'm gonna work it round. And the problem with that is you gotta make sure that you're lined up, because if you lose that center line, it's gonna, you'll know. How's that? You'll just know. And that's why I like working as a circle. But since I don't really have a guide point except for that, if I keep rolling it, it's all going to meld into one. And so I'm not going to know where the top of that leaf is. So I'm just going to automatically put it in a leaf shape. But it squares off the bottom, which is why I don't like putting it in a triangle. And sorry, I sit Indian style. Either Indian style or half Indian style, and that wasn't really good with all the back issues I've been having, so I had to get my leg down. But my back is doing much better. Wasn't so great yesterday, but never to the point again where I wasn't be able to walk. So hopefully that means the inflammation is going down. I still can't feel from my knee to my ankle. Still haven't made an appointment with the physical therapy. I even had a note in my phone to call them today, and I did not. I will blame it on the time change. Okay, so I'm not going to reduce this all the way down either. I'll do that off camera. That way we can start on our flower. Okay, so, oof, that's our leaf. Okay, and remember, this isn't white, this is translucent. So whatever pink or whatever color is behind it's going to come through it. It's going to look really cool, I think. Okay, so now the flower. I was just going to do yellow and white, all right? I don't think I've ever made just a yellow and white flower. Now, you could add the fuchsia, right? But that might take a little bit from the background, so I'm going to try really hard not to do that. but I do want, this is just going to be a regular flower. It's not going to be a ghost flower. Although it could be. Nah, we need at least something that's solid, I think. So I do have some flowers like this that I can put around it if I need some of those ghost flowers to go with it. Alright, so I'm just reducing this, or not reducing it, I'm just kind of getting it conditioned, and I've got it really thin, but it's going to be at a number 1, or a 0, or a number 1 on your machine. Mine's 0, why I keep saying 1, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so now what size flower do I want? I don't like making them too small because they're hard to get them into shape if I do. So I think I'm going to do 4 yellows and 4 whites. Or maybe more. That doesn't look like it's a really big cutter that I use. I think I usually use 2-inch. And that is 2-inch. I think I'll go 4. Okay. 3, and that'll give me enough to wrap it. And maybe make some little thingamabobs in the inside. I still feel like that's going to be a really small flower. So usually if I made this at a 2 inches, it would be 2, 4, 6. So 4 and 4 is 8. I don't know why I feel like this is really small though. But we're going to try it. Because we are going to wrap it, so it'll be a little bit bigger. And I know that yellow is going to stick onto my blades here, so I'm going to kind of clean them without taking them off. There we go. Alright, so I do have 4, right? Yep. Yeah, definitely going to need a lot more white. I had a blade. I just cut this, so I know I have a blade. And I lost my blade. Did not hit the floor, I know that. But here we are. And while this is going to take me a while, got a question for you all. I don't know why this was just a random thought in my head, but I thought about it the other day. So, YouTubers, TikTokers, all of them people, have you all been noticing how crazy they're all becoming? And I say that with a grain of salt, right? I don't get it. I don't know what it is about social media that is turning people into monsters, but you've got, oh, I don't even know the name of her YouTube channel, but it was Morgan something, and she was a blogger, And she'd basically drive all over the place, like a travel blogger, whatever, try different food, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's what they all do, right? And they all have their own channels of trying food, which I think is silly anyways. But she gathered a lot of followers. And then she met one of her fans on a YouTube channel. Decided to go out with this guy. Again, you pretty much know how this is going to turn out, right? But then she tried to extort him for like $400,000. Crazy. He couldn't get her out of the house. She was calling the cops saying that he was stalking her and that he beat her up and just crazy stuff, right? So she went to jail. And apparently the embezzlement must not be a big deal anymore in America. I'm going to have to learn that when I decide to, you know, steal from a bank or something, right? Because she got off. They dropped the charges. Like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, now this you might have heard of this guy. I liked his channel. I used to watch it when I was researching buying my Cricut. I found this guy, and he was a little eccentric, to say the least. But he taught me so much. Well, this guy just got arrested last week for child pornography. His page is completely down. It is Mr. Crafty Pants. What is the name? And like I said, he was good. He was so good at the do-it-yourself. I mean, some of the things he would make just blew me away. And again, I learned so much from this guy. And it's just really sad what happened to him. And then, of course, you got that one girl who stabbed her boyfriend in Florida. She was an OnlyFans model, right? You got all these YouTubers and TikTokers and Instagrammers and all these influencers, too, that are, like, committing suicide. And it's like, what is wrong with people? I don't know what is wrong with our society. But, you know, it's what I do is no different than teaching at a school or something, right? You're just teaching some of the stuff that you've learned. That's all it is. But these guys think they're so special and entitled, and it's like, do you know who I am? And do you know how many followers I have? Blah, blah, blah. Like it's a big deal. I'm sorry. I don't think it's a big deal. I come on here and do videos because I love teaching. There were two things that I wanted to be when I grew up, and that was one, a teacher. Well, three things actually. Two was a nurse, and three would have been a fireman, paramedic. I got as far as EMT, but, you know, I gave up a career so that my kids were not home alone. I had a sister that worked her butt off, and she had nannies raise her kid, and I didn't want that. Or my mom, actually. Nannies and my mom, because the nanny stole from her, so they went back to my mom, right? And my mom was older. You know, she already raised her kids. I was not going to do that to my mom. So I stayed home, and I homeschooled them. But if I had to go back to work, then that was when I went to work at night. And that way, one of us was always home with the kids. We never really relied on babysitters. And that's what we wanted. But to me, YouTube and all that is really no different than being a teacher. And I've seen some polymer clay artists that have like a condescending tone to their voice when they talk. Like, look, I'm the pro. You know, you don't need to do this. And, you know, my advice is solid and stuff like that, which it isn't. And I know a lot of channels that I stopped watching because of the fact that they were just, they talked with an air of authority and more of looking down on their subscribers than being an equal partner. Now, you've seen my work, but I've seen some of your guys' works, and your guys' work blows my work out of the water. Alright, so I'm nothing special. I just like to talk. And I like to teach. And I might not be everybody's cup of tea. I know my channel hasn't really grown, and I know that I haven't put a whole lot of content up, but it's still slow growing compared to others. And you know what? I don't care, because YouTube isn't my life, as you guys know. You know, between kids and grandkids and animals and just life, I don't worry about that stuff. So I was just wondering if you guys noticed, especially some of you true crimers, you probably see all these cases all over the place of people just literally going insane. So hopefully it's not just me, but if I ever get weird, you guys put in the comments, hey, you're getting kind of weird, go back. I don't think I'll ever have that happen, but you know what I mean, right? I'm pretty honest about my life and what I do, honest about my struggles, because if it helps somebody else, then it should be shared, right? And I don't really care a rat's you know what people think of me. Okay, so now that we're on this flower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take, I got to cover it with yellow, right? But I'm going to take a little bit of yellow. Oh, do I want to try orange? Oh, look at that. Is that actually yellow? Is that a yellow? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. Okay. So I've got some already open. I'm going to take some orange. Not much, just a little bit. We're going to make like a little stamen right there, right? Really, I don't want it to be overwhelming. So I'm just trying to get it to be like a dark yellow. And I may have gone a little bit to the peach, which I really don't want to do. I just want it to barely show up. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? All right, we're going to take all that yellow in there. I didn't want it to be that much different. I just wanted to add a little bit of darkness, but I didn't want to add black. All right, so maybe this will be okay. It's a beautiful color, but okay. And it's not going to go that much higher than where we're at. So I'm going to leave that alone like this. And I'm going to try to make this into a really, really thin log. Hopefully without air bubbles. Did you see how I closed that up? I'll be shocked if there's none. Okay. So again, we just want it really thin. And watch, this is going to turn out to be like my best flower, and I didn't make enough of it to sell, right? Which is usually what happens. Okay, so I'm just going to go one right there. I'll cover it up. Okay. Okay, so why isn't that working like I want it to? I've done this before. Fine, I'll just do one. Okay. It's not working like I've had it to where, you know, I can put two of these on one and then one on the other, but I did something wrong. This is what happens when you add something last minute. check on Jake before I reduce this. I have been in here all day today. Okay, so on this one, we're just going to do one. I don't know how high I'm going to go. Oh, and I need a center, don't I? This might just be a center as well. I don't know yet. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 on here. Okay, because you're not going to see it much more. So I'll do one more. And that's good enough, I think. This one had 2, so we're just going to put 1 right there. And that's it. Okay, now we're just going to finish it up. And it got really hot in here. I had a bowl of soup for dinner. I didn't have to cook tonight or anything, so I made me a bowl of soup. And I'm pretty sure my sugar is low, because that's usually my first symptom is I get really hot. Okay, so this is that orange. I'm going to keep that. That might be the center. That's the yellow. Okay. So now we're going to shape this into a triangle. All right. And then we're going to wrap it in just the regular yellow here. This is a very small flower. So we're going to keep this at 1.5 inches. Okay, so we're just going to wrap this. I don't know how thick yet. I don't think it's going to be at the thickest setting. So I'm just going to grab all the yellow without having to open up another package. So that's how thick it's going to be, whatever this ends up. So I've got it at a number 2 right now. And then I have it at a 3. And I think we can do it. Okay. So, all right, so I want it this way. Okay. Well, we're a little tight here. And again, not a big deal. So I'm just going to add some pieces to it. I have no idea what happened here, but it all got funky. So I'll just add that missing piece. And since we have that orange showing, I'm going to add a strip to it. This way I will know where the center of this flower is. Okay. All right. So now we need to get 6 equal parts. So yes, I am going to hit pause while I reduce this, and then we'll come back and put it together. So see you in a bit. Guys, so we've got it at 9 inches where I wanted it. So that's going to give me 6 slices. So not quite sure where I need to end this. And it's going to be different because it isn't a Skinner blend that I used. Or is it? Yeah, it is. I made a Skinner blend. Alright, so cut a little bit more off. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to go 1.5 inches. Oops, that was a little over. 6, 9. Okay, so there is our flower. Okay. Now we just need that little center, which I think isn't going to be real fancy. I think I'm going to take this orange and put it right in the center. So I'm going to move those over. I'll do that. Okay, so if I want my petals a little rounder, I'm just going to come in here and round them a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stick that right there. I have a feeling that's a little too big, but we'll know in a minute. Wow, I have never made a flower where I made the center exactly how I needed it, ever. I don't know what I did to this guy. He's a little backwards. Okay, just trying to give me a little sharp bottom. Alright. Okay, now the only thing we need to do is wrap this with more Cernet, translucent. Okay. And then yes, we need to take a little bit of this off. Okay, so there is our flower. Now I'm going to go wash my hands so I don't get yellow over the Cernet. I'm not sure if it really matters at this point, but we're going to go wash them real quick and we'll be right back. Alrighty, so this is the fun part, right? And again, not going to use the pasta machine. I'm just going to roll this. Kind of push your fingers into the sides, make it more round. And it will have to go through the pasta machine at the end because I'm going to need a strip that goes all the way around it. But for now, I just need little logs to go in between. I think I have one more container of Cernet, or at least I hope I do, because I think I'm going to need more than what I've got. Alright, so again, we can work it into a triangle like that. I don't know. This is going to be big enough, small enough. So every piece that you add in here is going to take away some space. So that's why I'm not going too far down. Just enough to separate the petals. Okay, so I just need one more. So you see what I mean? How it just kind of takes up more space here. See, I don't like that right there. It might be because it's squishing out. I don't know. But we have to leave it at that because there's no way I can take it apart at this point. Alright. So we're going to run this through the pasta machine at the thickest setting. And this is going to be our outside. Make sure I don't have any yellow, which I do. So that's double. So we're going to cut this in half, or not cut this in half, fold it in half, and put it through one more time. Ta-da! Now we have our outside. Okay. Alrighty, that's it. Not a whole lot of cernet left. Okay, so I am going to reduce this now. And depending on the length of this video, we may put it all together into beads and the next time. So this might have to be a part 1. Because I have a feeling this one's a long one. Because we did 3 canes. Okay, so let me reduce it and I'll let you know when I get back. Talk to you soon. Alrighty guys, so I looked and we're about an hour into this video. So I don't want to make this to go 2 hours. So this is going to be part 1. And I will put the part 2 up a couple days later. I won't go an entire week. Maybe. It depends. And I was a little worried about this because it's soft. And I don't know. I didn't like the way that center looked. But that's the flower. Okay. And it's still got to be reduced quite a bit. So it might be okay. Okay. So the next video, we're going to use this for the background. We're going to add the yellow and the green flowers. And maybe some ghost flowers. And we're going to make a really spring set of beads. I'll try and do different shapes. And then we'll put them in some jewelry. Okay, and we'll see how they turn out. So I'm going to reduce all these now. So it'll be ready for our next video. So I will talk to you guys later. And thanks for hanging out with me. Talk to you later. Bye.